Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear students, welcome back. So until now we were done with this transplanting, then the manuring. Now comes the irrigation. So once the seeds or the seedlings they establish themselves in the fields, then water is again given in the field. Okay, now once we have put the seedlings in the field, now we are supposed to give water to them, and this is known as irrigation. Okay, and water is required for the plants to meet the needs of evaporation and other metabolic activities that are going on in the plant. So water is needed for that, and this depends on the weather and the moisture already present in the soil and the stage of the crop. That means how much water is needed, that will depend on these factors. So water is also lost through the soil seepage. Soil seepage means the escape of the water or any such liquid deep into the soil. Okay, so water is lost in that case as well, so we need more water there. A crop should be properly irrigated for its growth. If we want a crop to grow healthy, so we need to give it proper irrigation. A timely irrigation ensures a high yield of crop. If it's like we are supposed to give X meters or X liters of water to our crop, okay, so we are supposed to give it at that time. Okay, so only then the yield of the crop will be good. Now a field needs to be irrigated with just the right amount of water. It should neither be too much or not too less. Excess of water can destroy. If we are supposed to give X meters and I'll give more than that, so what will happen then? The crops will get destroyed. Okay, so the continuous water logging increases the amount of salt in the soil, and they can damage it as well. Okay, some plants like rice needs to be partially submerged in water and are irrigated by the method of individual filled bunds or basin irrigation. So there are certain crops that need to be totally submerged in water, so we are going to irrigate that by the method of individual file bunds. And the excess water can be drained off into the streams or the rivers by providing certain outlets, so that the excess water in the field that can be moved out. Drains are built to help the surplus water reach these streams more quickly. Now it's the weeding. We are done with the irrigation now. So weeds are the undesirable plants in the crop field. They are the plants, but they are undesirable. We don't need them in our fields. Okay, they compete with the crop plants for nutrients and sunlight, and thus grow at the expense of crop. What they do there? They're competing with the crops. They try to snatch their nutrients and sunlight, and therefore at the expense of food crop plants they are growing. So we don't need that happen, right? So this reduces the yield. That obviously it will reduce the yield. The weeds are removed from the field either manually with the help of some trowels, harrows, or some spraying, or by spraying the weedicides. The weedicides are the chemicals that we use to kill the weeds, like 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid and simazine. There are some spraying appliances in use today to apply these chemicals. Now the crop protection. The crop yield is affected if the plants are afflicted with some disease or attacked by the pest. Okay, then the crop yield is badly affected in fact. The parasitic fungi, insects such as locusts and grasshoppers, and rodents such as rats cause extensive damage to the crops either as a plant or in a storage. Okay, if these grasshoppers, rats, they are present, so they will cause damage to the plant. So what will do? Protection against the pests, weeds and diseases done in various phases. The pesticides are sprayed on the plants to keep off the pests, so that the pests will remain away. And insecticides are used to check the insects, while weedicides check the growth of weeds. Okay, like insecticides like malathion, dimquirone and polythion, they're common in use. They are used for killing the insecticides. And we got to know about the pesticides, these weedicides as well. Now these insecticides kill the pests as well as their larvae, but the plants are not affected by them. They are not affected by them, so that's good. The pesticides can be applied either as dust or spray. These we can apply them as a dust, but also as a spray in the form of spray. A variety of spraying and dusting equipment is available. The selection of the time of spray is also very important. Many of these are highly poisonous, so must be used with care. the grains, vegetables and fruits that we buy from the market, they have a coating of these pesticides. So before using them we should wash them, right? Because maybe they have sprayed the pesticides to kill the pests. So if we won't wash them and we'll eat them, it will be very hazardous for us. Okay, so whenever we buy some fruits, vegetables or grains, we should wash them very nicely before using them. Now in the fields, birds and the mammals also eat away the crops, right? We know that birds are there to kill the crops, to eat the crops. So they are to be frightened. So we need something so that they can be frightened and can be stay away from the field. For this, farmers use a scarecrow, right? They make a scarecrow type of a thing so that when the birds come there, they just see that there is a scarecrow, so they get frightened and they keep themselves away from there. Now comes the harvesting. The rabi and the kharif crops ripe in the end of their season, while the fruits and the grains are golden in color when they are ready for harvesting. Harvesting, what is the harvesting? It is a process of cutting and collecting the crop which is matured. Now when it is a time to cut and collect that process is known as harvesting. This may be done either by hand or with a sickle or with machines such as combine harvesters. We use them to collect it. In India, there are two types of seasons for cultivation and harvesting. The seasons are Kharif and Rabi. The Kharif crop is sown in June and July. We sow them and they are harvested in the monsoon, that is in the September and October. Rice is an example of Kharif crop. So rice is sown in June and July and is harvested in September and October. Okay. Now the Rabi crop, that is sown in October to December and is harvested in March or April, and wheat is an example of Rabi crop. In well irrigated areas, rice can also be sown as a Rabi crop. Then wheat is a Rabi crop here. Now the harvest festivals. There are many harvesting festivals in India like Pongal, Baisakhi, Holi, Diwali, Nibhanya and Bihu that are associated with the harvest time. Farmers enjoy these festivals after seeing their crops. When farmers see that their crops are flourishing, they are just so nice, so they enjoy these festivals as well. Now there comes the threshing. The stems of the wheat, maize, they are cut, made a hay, and then the grains, they are separated from the chaff by threshing, by beating them on the floors. But it is done manually also, but with the help of some machines they are to be done now, that is the threshers or the combine harvesters. It is an example of thresher, students. Okay, I hope it's all for today. Jazakallah.